My name is Shelby Anderson. I am a high school history teacher at Laguna Beach High School. I teach AP Human Geography, Global Studies, and my specialty of U.S. history. Part of what I do in my classroom is make the experience very experience-based learning. And the kids get to feel artifacts and engage with history in a way that's not just learning about it from a lecture, but actually getting to engage with hands-on history-based items and simulations that maybe put them in the mental space or a similar experience to what somebody in history may have experienced. Some of the items that I have in my classroom that I particularly like the most are my uniforms. So those ones I get to bring in and have the kids see and touch and feel what somebody from the era would have worn during that time period. So I have artifacts ranging from the 1920s with the Prohibition up to about the Korean War. So with my uniforms, we have a Women's Army Corps uniform. So that was from women serving during the 1940s in the Army. And that's actually what I like to represent when I go out and educate the public is Women's Army Corps. I also have a Pearl Harbor nurse uniform, my great uncle's Korean War uniform, and a lot of gifts of uniforms that have been given to me by the public, including a World War I uniform from a soldier who I actually have the photo of the person who served wearing it. Some of the other things that I like to collect to bring American culture to life from the different eras is various kind of food-based items, so either containers that contain food or spices, so things that students are familiar with in their own kitchens, but bringing it from a history-based perspective. A lot of things that I think are helpful for understanding the context of culture with history is newspapers. So I have newspapers from the 1920s talking about Prohibition, and the kids get to read about, hey, this is what the attitude was when Prohibition got knocked down.
And this is the earlier style where it's shallow.
Have you actually opened any of these and eaten one?
I think that's a repro.
Oh, it's a repro?
Saltines, yeah. I got them from, I think,
that's a great shot.
Robert Maxwell had them.
I'm a part of the historical unit of Southern California, so we are a reenactment group based in Southern California, and we love to go to all different types of events that are historically related. We've shown up at museums, we've shown up at private events, but one of the things that we really enjoy is educating students and educating the public and doing reenactment battles.
I would have written a few weeks ago about it, but held off. But now I have gotten to a point where I feel a lot of those people back home who sit back complacently ought to know that there's a real war going on, and Beck, I see it every day. The air raid sirens are a frequent sound to us during the day as well as the night, and it means the real thing over here. I'm sure that many of the people I write to think because I write only of the pleasant things, that there's nothing else that enters into our little lives. I don't believe that the people back home can grasp any part of the situation over here.
I actually invite a lot of the reenactors that I'm very close with into my classroom to come and speak to my students.
The British had devised this helmet, which is based off of a medieval helmet design that originated back to the castle days of sieges when troops would be behind a castle parapet with rocks raining down from catapults and trebuchets.
I personally am on the board of the historical unit of Southern California, and I am their education outreach coordinator. So I try to connect reenactors who want to share their passion for history with teachers who want to invite them into their classroom.
Vehicles are around at this time, but they're kind of only used for transportation. People that drive vehicles, chances are they're taught by the military how to drive, because up to this point, cars have only been around for about 20 years, and they're considered a rich man's novelty.
The students love having the reenactors come in. They really enjoy it. They get really excited. They usually are very engaged with my own lessons, but you get to see it ramped up to another level when they have two people standing in full kit in the classroom. Oftentimes those reenactors will bring their own artifacts, and the kids get to see more than just what I have, but what those reenactors bring to the table. With the reenactors in that full kit, they'll kind of explain the different pieces or what's in the backpack.
This guy on. All together, when you're fully loaded, you're carrying about 80 pounds of gear. And you're going to be carrying this pretty much once you get to France.
So it really kind of brings what I'm talking about in the classroom with introducing that subject. It really brings it to life and helps cement that lesson that I'm trying to get them to learn of the American experience at that time.
While the U.S. feared public opinion and was careful not to unduly endanger the lives of their servicewomen, war leaves no one untouched.
Dear Beck, this paragraph you can leave out for Mom and Pop. Anywho, this morning while slapping on my makeup, we had a couple or two of those doodle bugs glide over our billets, or close enough to feel the vibration, which I can assure you was most uncomfortable.
My hope is that my students walk away with an understanding that history is real and not just stories in a book, that these are real people who have experiences that are worthy of sharing, that where we are today is not without the sacrifices of the people before us. And people from all walks of life, of all ethnic backgrounds, of all religions have impacted where we're at today. And that those stories are worthy of being told and contextualizing our experience today. So I hope that my students realize it's not just a story, but it's somebody's life and it impacts where you are. And you can also have an impact on our future and you can make an impact with the things that you're passionate about.